Delighted on this episode of Words, Images, and Worlds to be having a second chat with author Makayla Nielson. And on this episode, we also have co author Trenna McMullin. Many thanks to you both for joining. And we're talking about fantasy and YA and romance and all of the things. So many weavings of genre here. Glad to be talking about this book with you. It's The Voyage of Clara Bowman. And many thanks to you both for showing up and being in the Zoom with me.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. I'm going to put you up here, Trenna, so the two of you are above me as we're chatting through. How did you meet? How did the collaboration begin?
Do you want to take that?
Sure. So our husbands actually grew up together. So they've known each other since they were like in kindergarten. And I first met Makayla shortly after she and Nick got married. And we were just vague friends, more through our husbands for a little while. And then I put out a call on Facebook for an online writing group. And Makayla was like, "Oh, I'd love to join." And I was like, "I didn't even know you wrote. Like, this is amazing." And so we became really good friends through that. And then, over time that group kind of dwindled and fell apart. And shortly after that, Makayla reached out to me and was like, "Hey, how'd you feel about writing a book together?" And my initial response, I'll be honest, was like, I don't know. I kind of like control the process. I'm not sure this is gonna be something that will be helpful for our friendship. Like this could crash and burn really bad. But I thought about it a little bit and I was like, it's worth at least a try. Like we'll see, how it goes. And it's worked wonderfully. So it's been great. Makayla is so easy to work with. I feel like we've been able to kind of blend our styles and our not so much compromise on things, but like find solutions to things that work really well for both of us, in both the process and the actual stories. And yeah, it's been awesome.
Yeah, I
Nice.
agree with that 100%. And we were just talking the other day after we've written multiple books together now, and we were talking about how Trenna was working on a separate project on her own, and I've been working on a separate project. And she's saying, "Oh, I might actually have to outline something," which Trenna never, ever would have said before
Nope. Nope. I'm
co-authoring.
100% seat of the pantser.
So it's been fun to see how our writing styles have meshed, but also kind of evolved through working together.
Yeah, how they've influenced each other's styles and stuff. It's cool.
Nice, nice. So it sounds like that process has kind of developed along and changed a little bit as you've gone through, and it sounds like the two of you have impacted each other.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'd say that's
Yeah.
right. And I think at the beginning, when we first started writing and trying to mesh our styles together, we had a reader that admittedly knows both of our styles really well, but she read it and she's like, "I can tell exactly where you started and you stopped," but now when we have people read it, it's like, I can't tell that two people wrote this. So it took a minute to mesh our voices, but it's a really strong, fun voice. And once we figured it out, like it's so natural and easy to write together.
Yeah, I feel like when we first started writing, so kind of the way our process works is one of us will draft a scene and then the other goes back through and makes any changes or tweaks. If there's like major things, then we might stop and chat about it or whatever. But most of the time, it's just rephrasing this. Maybe we're going to take this a slightly different direction, that kind of thing. And I feel like when we first started writing, either I would be like really hesitant to make changes because I was like, but I don't know. I don't want her to feel bad if I'm like, I don't want to do it this way. Or then kind of once it moved past that hesitance, it was more like, oh, this just needs to change a ton because it doesn't sound like me, right? Kind of thing. And then it kind of went through that phase into now where I think sometimes she'll write a whole scene and I'll maybe like change a couple little adjectives or tweak a few little phrases slightly, but otherwise it sounds like the rest of the book already. And I mean, same. Sometimes, sometimes it's different. Sometimes you'll look at it and it's like we've changed every other word in this entire paragraph 5 times. But I think it's our styles have really just kind of we've gotten in the zone and been able to write like like we write rather than like I write or like she writes.
Yeah, and it's fun too because part of me is like, oh, if I'm trying to change my style to fit someone else's, where's my style? Like, am I going to lose
Mhm.
me as a writer? But we both write things separately all the time and have not lost that. So it's fun. It's a new skill. It's something fun that we've added to our repertoire instead of taking away or diminishing, which is fun.
Absolutely, I agree.
Love the creativity, and I am a fan of YA. I'm a teacher when I'm not in Zoom, and sometimes I teach in Zoom too. So I'm curious about what connects the two of you with young adult characters, the young adult genre, anything on that you'd like to mention?
Yeah, so I think specifically, you and I have talked about this a little bit before with Chimera's Blood because it's
Hmm.
also YA. So I think specifically for the Voyage of Clara Bowman, the coming of age aspect is pretty prevalent in this one, which I love. Clara has a very clear arc, and it's beautiful, and we love it. And I think that her part of her arc too is there is a faith thread as well, and so I think um, being of that age, having experiences where you're not only tested physically and emotionally, but also spiritually, was fun to write. And I think it connects with that age group really well because it is a time where you're trying to figure out all of these things. So to have someone that goes through hard things, doesn't always make the right decisions, but does learn from them, I think is valuable.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I agree
Hmm.
100%. I started writing as a teenager. I mean, I'd been writing, little stories and stuff ever since I was a kid, but like decided that writing was something I really wanted to do when I was a teenager. And so kind of that age, that period of time in someone's life can be really influential, which makes it really fun to write about because it's something that just goes back to what makes you into the person that you are. I mean, people change as adults still, but I think that that period of time is where you see the most struggle, the most change, the most trying to figure out who you are, and that can be really powerful to write about as well as really fun.
Um, now there are also elements of fantasy, elements of romance. How do you go about balancing all of the ingredients of the story?
Yeah, so the Voyage of Clara Bowman we'd probably describe as more like low magic fantasy. Um, so there's kind of a smaller thread there, but it's very I feel like it enriches the story a lot. Where when it is thrown in, it's like, oh, that's cool. So that's really cool. And then the the romance aspect, which Trina and I both love to write. That is it's throughout. It's also a thread. And this is Clara's story. But these things are impacting her story. And so although the romance and the fantasy aspects aren't like in your face, they are very much there and very much impact her, and are just, I think, so enriching and so fun for the story.
Yeah, one of the things I think that brings readers to the fantasy genre is that they want that sense of wonder, that discovery of a new world, that kind of sense of things are different here and magical, and there's all the possibilities. And I think with Clara's story, we really captured that. One, the setting is a country that doesn't even exist, a world that doesn't even exist. It's not our world. It has a lot of similarities to our world in like the 1700s, early 1800s ish. But it's different. Like there's key things that we kind of point out that set it apart. And then we've also got kind of the magic gives us a freedom to have all sorts of fun things when she reaches the jungle portion. We had all kinds of fun inventing imaginary plants and things, animals and things that just don't exist on our world, which was great. And then for the romance aspect, that does carry through most of the story. So I feel like, we've got the setting that's the fantasy element, and then we've got the character development and growth that is really closely tied to the romance. And plot setting character, those are the three pillars of any story, and it's just they're both interwoven through all of those. So.
Anything else that you'd like listeners to know about this story before we talk about what you're envisioning next?
Oh,
Did I pitch it real quick?
Yeah,
yeah.
by all means.
Yeah. So this story we like to describe as if Anne of Green Gables went on an Indiana Jones style adventure and found love along the way.
Nice.
So
Nice.
it's a bunch of fun. There's a bunch of all sorts of there's a love triangle in it. So romance, which we've had readers that ship both both couples. So it's kind of I think we hit the right balance there with her choosing which one to be with. And then it's also got, like Makayla mentioned earlier, themes of faith. It's got religious persecution. It's got kind of that coming of age, struggling to find your place in the world. So it's got all sorts of wonderful aspects.
Yeah, I think one thing I'd like readers to know, we have so Trenna has a son that's about the same age as one of my nieces, and these two were our beta readers, a couple of them, and they were opposite ends of the spectrum on this love triangle, and actually their feud kind of fueled our ideas for a second book in this series, which is now complete and written. But it was just the passion and the enthusiasm for these characters.
Yes, I could not go around the house after my son read it without him ranting, see me and be like, "Mom, this character is useless." Talking about the love interest he didn't want her to end up with, and it just, yeah, it's entertaining.
It's a great review. That is a great review. It sounds like you're envisioning a series. It sounds like the story continues beyond here.
Yes, we have finished the second book in the series, The Proving of Levi Perez. That one we're hoping to release sometime next year, which will be super fun. And we have planned 2 other books in that series as well. One is following a different character, Vivian White, and then the next is kind of a bringing together of these characters that we've introduced. So we have so many plans and so many ideas, and we're grateful to be able to share them here. So thanks for that.
Yeah, one of
Excellent.
the ideas that we'd kind of floated around when we started the series was, what if we did a series where you could start at any of the books? Which, you know, is kind of tricky and it's hard to balance. And I don't know with book 2 whether we'll, by the time editing is done, whether we'll have struck that balance or not. I did have some readers read that before they read book 1, and they tentatively were like, it was an enjoyable story. But then after reading book 1, they were like, oh, I wish I'd read this first because I would have like even more liked this one. So we're still working with that balance. But the idea is that the first 3 books, they follow 3 separate characters. It's slightly chronological, but books 2 and 3 are kind of happening at the same time, but in 2 different places. And then book 4 would bring them all together. And so it'd be like, you can read, 1, 2, and 3 in whichever order, and then read book 4. So we'll see if we can pull that off or not. But that's kind of what our plan was at the beginning.
Nice. Where can we find out more information about this title, other titles, the 2 of you? Any links, conferences, anything like that you'd like to share?
Yeah, so Trenna and I both keep our websites up to date. So if you go on there, it's really easy to find our books. Trenna has also written a fantasy trilogy that you can find on her website as well. And it's on Amazon. Super easy to find there. Right now it's in paperback and ebook formats. The audiobook we're hoping to have out around May. And we're doing that ourselves, and that's been really great. So Trenna's like, the master.
She's doing the recording. I'm trying to do the sound mastering part. Her part's going wonderfully. My part, not so much, but I'm figuring it out.
She's doing great. So yeah, we'll have it out in in those formats. And yeah, so we're also on social media. Trenna everywhere is at Trenna McMullin. Super easy because her name is
Yep.
unique.
And the easiest way to find our book, any of my books, is just to Google my name or to put my name in the search bar. It's easier than the title for whatever reason. So
It's true. And mine is author Makayla Nielson. So we're pretty easy to find. If you find one of us, you'll find the other. So
yeah, we're on Instagram, Facebook, Threads. I'm also on Twitter, but not very well. Used to be Twitter. Not so much since it's not Twitter anymore. And our websites are both just ournames.com. So TrennaMcMullin.com and MakaylaNielson.com. It's super easy to Google and find. And yeah.
Well, wonderful to talk with you about this. I'm looking forward to adding the books to my classroom library, and certainly glad to have you back anytime to chat more.
thanks so much, Jason. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
This was a wonderful opportunity.
Anytime, anytime. Many